Have you ever heard this? If you have, listen.
Welcome back to Hot Daddy Summer. We got, dude, this is a special episode, Kai.
Dude, it's
you
a
know,
legendary
we've been
episode.
excited about this, bro. So it's unknown to most, but like I had a project that I was working on, as you know, a couple of years ago, and that I'm not going to get into the gory details. I lost that friend and all of that project and everything that came with it. So it's been like a long time coming to get you back, but I'm so thankful and grateful because I know you're busy. You're popping in on Tuesday here on your way
Round two, baby.
Round
to
two,
the
let's do it.
spots. Carlos Sosa, guys. Yeah, dude.
Welcome to the cast.
Thanks, bro. Yeah.
Nice
How you
to
doing,
meet
man?
You guys, I'm good. I'm good.
You've been a busy man, sir.
Yeah, things are getting busier and busier. Yeah, I just got done. I came home Sunday night from playing with James Taylor and Jason Mraz, and I tell people when I get home, like my family and my friends, you know, it's like I get home on Sunday, and then I have like my aunt calls me, you know, on Monday, tell me all about your weekend. Like I don't want to talk to anybody for 2 days. Like I've been talking to my therapist about this. I'm pretty sure I'm a fucking introvert.
It's the only motherfucker I want to talk to.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, yeah.
And when I play concerts and
the
like,
irony of being doing what you do.
yeah, dude, and I love what I do, but I'm fucked for like 2 or 3 days after.
It's like a
And
social battery.
It's exactly what
For
it is,
sure.
dude.
And I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to be at home alone. Fuck off. Don't call me. Don't text me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I relate
but it's
the
not
hell
personal.
out of that.
It
It
is-
is.
but
Just, you get out there and you're like, you spend all your energy and then you're drained, and it's not just like a refilling well that, you know, comes back.
No, you have
30
to
minutes
wait. You have
later.
to rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's yeah, but it was fun. It was fun. It's like, and then I made new friends. I love meeting new people, but then I've got to chill. So right now, and then if I know I'm doing something in the future, like tonight, I'm gonna play tonight at my residency that I do at Seaboys.
And if you haven't been, you better fucking go.
Show up.
Yeah, it's great.
There is no better Tuesday night,
Yeah, it's been fun.
dude.
And I have to, like I was gonna say, I have to prepare myself for like 24 hours to be there, show up, talk to people, be cool, be cool.
You go hard in the paint too, you know, because you're doing it on stage, and then you got to get off, and then you got to do that number because it's a totally different number.
Yeah.
But I was just going to talk to this guy because I'm trying to get this guy. The hang is part of it. It's like it's not
Absolutely.
always just the performance.
1,000,000%. And I tell people all the time, like, really great players. I mean, part of being on a tour, getting picked to be in a band or a touring band or whatever, it's more than 50% of what kind of person you are. Because there's so many great players, and that's easy to find a great player. But people want to spend time with you, and especially if you're, living with people for months at a time.
It's more so, are you a good hang?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it it's really, playing pop gigs. I've been doing it for so long, and I'm super grateful, but it's not hard to do. You play a bunch of instruments, you can, how hard is it to play a Maroon 5 song? It's not hard. So you could be on tour with Maroon 5. It's really not that hard. But what kind of person are you,
It's also the sort of durability of being able to go that whole tour and not just phone it in every show, and to
Right.
like put your best foot forward, and like coming at that from like a social battery perspective, where you do have to show up every night and really not only do the performance but be like just part of it, put your full personality into it. That just gets exhausting. Like that's the part that's really wear and tear.
It is. It's hard, and you have to. That's one of the things. Like people would tell me, you only work like 2 hours a night. Like, but you don't understand. Like it's a brutal 2 hours of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But especially being on a big stage, like you have. That's your job, is to put on the best show that you can for the people.
Yeah.
I remember, it was probably like 10, 15 years ago. So me and my horn section, my guys, we would do, when we started touring a lot, doing really big tours, we'd play like Fenway Park sold out for like Friday and Saturday night. And then Sunday we'd be at Barton Creek Country Club.
Dude.
30,000 people a night. Then we come to Austin and we play for like 100 people. It's, a bunch of drunk frat boys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we would sit there at like the encore of, Fenway Park, 30,000 people. And we'd stand there and we'd be like, all right, boys, take a good fucking look.
Enjoy this.
Yeah. Take a good, and every time, still to this day, every time we finish the show, we're like, take a good fucking look.
This could be the last one,
Take
brother.
a mental snapshot of this.
No.
Overlay it on every empty bar in the future.
Exactly.
Dude.
But and it gives you an appreciation for, like, I play C-Boys every Tuesday night, and there's such a difference of when you play these big shows. It's awesome. I have all these like great families in all these different bands, and I love to see them. And I love music is like, it's a relationship, and when you're playing, it's very symbiotic, And then, but playing these shows, there's not a lot of room for improvising or doing. It's everything's to the minute. And it's funny because I was talking to James Taylor about this Saturday night, and we were talking about
You do often say sentences that sound like not real.
Yeah. It does happen.
It's like, okay, go ahead.
I was talking to James Taylor.
It's like you're not. Dude,
But we were talking at, he said, how long did you guys rehearse for this show Saturday night? And I was like, we didn't rehearse. We just came in and played the show. He's like, do you do that often? And I was like, well, not really, but the band, we were talking about the adrenaline of not over rehearsing a show when you're at that level. Like, the songs. We don't have to. I remember doing a Kelly Clarkson tour. We rehearsed for a month. And, it's cool because, it's great to hang and rehearse and get things right. But with this show that we played, it's like when, you have the creativity to, like, if we mess up, we mess up, and you're excited not to mess up. There's that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an unpolished interest that just becomes a little more intimate in a way.
Well, you have this energy of like this. It might, are we going to hit this thing together? Is it going to be as awesome as it has been? And everybody, it always is, but you have this energy of like, it might not because we didn't rehearse.
Well, but there's trust, with you guys. Because y'all been together, what is it, like 25?
Yeah, about 25 years.
Dude, I mean, I can't even imagine after that long, like the level of synergy and chemistry and just, it's almost like you can predict each other's like moves before they happen. That's like when a guy like James Taylor comes in and he's like, you didn't rehearse. It's like, well, yeah, we did. It's been the last 25 years.
Right. Well, my point was in saying is that, there's, when the reason that we do Tuesday nights is because we can do whatever the fuck we want, and we don't
Love of the game.
We can mess up and have a blast and then make something up on the spot, which you can't do that with other shows. You know what I mean?
And there's an energy about Tuesdays that it's like, it's special. And us regulars that like, there's just when it's a Tuesday, you don't know who might pop in too.
Oh yeah, were you there last week?
Was I? Yeah. Who?
Fucking insane accordion player.
Oh yes, dude.
This guy,
bro.
What's his name? Oh man.
Weird Al?
No.
He's
the world champion accordion player. Corey Pesaturo. He's a fucking
homeboy's going
enigma.
off.
Like he's a freak show.
That is so like I do like the left fieldness of that one. I was like, because you see like cats on like on a sax or on a trumpet or something trying to come in.
This dude's
it's like fuck.
There's a certain just cool factor that comes in with like you showing up with just the most out of pocket instrument. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go up and rip some accordion,
bro.
I knew a sax player that was a fucking beast, and one of those dudes like he got a PhD in history from University of Texas, but he played with all these badass Eddie Palmieri, this big salsa band and whatever. He used to go sit in. He used to go take his piccolo and go sit in with bands all around town, and people are like, "What the fuck are you gonna do with that thing?" And he just rips shit,
Dude, like a fucking John Philip Sousa piccolo.
A piccolo,
dude,
bro.
a fucking piccolo,
a fucking marching,
not a piccolo snare, a piccolo.
The little fucking fife.
Little out here granting some wishes.
You know what Speaking of a week of things I did not think I'd see, accordion, and I was at Gallery, and a fucking Will, I forget his name, he used to play with Mike of the Burnalls a lot. A fucking sousaphone, dude. I was like, just like on a random.
brought a sousaphone.
He was rocking a sousaphone, dude.
That's pretty dope.
It was, and I was like, number one, I think I deserve credit for knowing it's called a sousaphone because
Like,
it just shows I'm a band nerd. No, but I was like, dude, in the week of like, I did not expect of all the things tonight to see this thing. And for y'all it was the accordion. Then I think it was Thursday at Gallery, or Thursday or Monday. But yeah, I'm like, dude, but I love it because it's like, dude, you're a multi-instrumentalist. Like,
I play mostly sax, but I play a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
Out of necessity. There was a point I produced a lot of records, and there was a point a while back where I was just like, man, I didn't want to hire like to make like hip hop and pop tunes. It's like, I mean, I can do all that stuff. I just have to work on it, you know.
You have to learn the instrument good enough to get what you want out
exactly.
of it. Yeah. I wanted to learn other instruments because I started with guitar for that reason of like, I'm, in high school, I'm writing all these songs. I don't want to have to go find my friend who's also a drummer or like pay a drummer to get in here. Like, I'll just figure it out.
Exactly.
Didn't sound great at first.
Right.
But, it's a drive.
Funny enough, you get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you work hard at anything, you actually improve.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's fun, actually. It's fun, sounding like shit on something and then keep doing it. And you're like, wow, all right. After a while, you just sound a lot better. It's really, that's really fun.
Yeah, and then it's especially fun for those watching when you all are locked in because, god damn, dude, Matt Mueling, bro. That guy, that 25 or 64, bro, I'm like, fuck.
He's a freak show.
Dude, I love watching you guys all like enjoying it with us because when individually, like when different guys are like, but Matt obviously is kind of a bit of a freak show, let's say. He's
an
it's
anomaly.
like, dude, Kai, bro, I'm telling you, bro,
Have you seen him?
I've never seen him live.
Oh god,
dude,
Yeah. Not to spoil anything, but we're gonna have him on eventually.
nice.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
We're supposed to with Mike Davila.
Nice.
But dude, that's fucking.
Yeah,
Dude, that was the other guy I was gonna say. As far as drummers in town, Davila,
I've
right?
known him forever. Yeah,
Dude, he's filthy, dude.
Yeah.
That he was the guy that Charles was like when I was like, who's the dude? Who's the problem? And I was like, because I'm like, whoever Charles says, and it's like
well,
Davila.
then fucking James Adkins comes to town.
Dude, we had a little controversy with James Atkins on the pod here. Dude, no, he's
He's one of my best friends. I love him.
Dude, I am, ever since I've seen him, dude, he is like, he's got a kind of energy about him, bro, that like, as a vocalist, dude, when he starts going wild, I'm like, god damn, dude, he electrifies the room like almost nobody I've seen anywhere in town.
Just like a
or
natural
anywhere.
performer's energy,
He really
like
is.
that personality just fits so well on stage, like just in front of an audience.
Yeah, he's a sweet, sweet dude. It's amazing the quality of drummers that are here now. I mean, then Nikki moved to town a while back, and it's
Glassby.
like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I remember I played a gig. James was playing with Grooveline, and he plays a fucking lot. Like he's busy.
Yeah.
And one night, you have Matt and you have Nick, like all these badass players, and they're just fucking jacking off on stage the whole time. And I'm like, this is, I fucking chewed out the band like fucking Buddy Rich. Like I was pissed. I was like, this is not funk. There's nothing's grooving.
Yeah.
Can you fucking guys play 16, 32 bars maybe of just something simple so we can have fun instead of everyone soloing every fucking 3 bars? Like, what the fuck?
Dude.
And then James was there, and the next gig he subbed, and literally all he played was kick and snare the whole fucking night. And he fucking laid it down. I was like, all right, you can do that.
No, I was just having this conversation with you outside about like drummers, especially the good ones. It's like sometimes the songs that are being played are not going to require a lot of technical,
Right.
In fact, sometimes and drummers get bored because they're like, oh man, this is just so easy and simple. It's like, if that's what the song calls for,
Man, I've gotten in arguments with people about this before too, because it's like, I mean, as every musician probably, I spent a lot of time in cover bands, and people get bored in cover bands, and it's like, why the fuck are you bored? Have you played the whole set perfectly and not fucked up once? And that's another thing about like being a performer. It's like playing like these different, these huge crowds, not so huge crowds or whatever, and then really coming into like understanding that we're very lucky to be doing what we do for a living. And then, so, you know, it took me a long time to really understand that I need to perform, period. Like I have to have a fucking good time and enjoy myself. And the main thing that I enjoy is playing with my friends.
Yeah.
And that, the whole kind of back and forth with Matt and with John and the looks we give each other when we hit something cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
Yep.
that's it. As the horn section, when we kill something and play something super, like there's no better feeling.
Do you feel like with your time as a resident at C-Boys, that is like a crucial element to keeping your like creativity alive?
Absolutely.
Because I can imagine, you know, with these bigger artists where you're playing to, you know, bigger crowds, but they're coming to hear the song exactly how it was off the record.
Right.
And approaching those two things is completely different. So if you had to like leave C-Boys behind, like
It's church, dog.
Well, that's when we started C-Boys probably a year after the pandemic. And because of that was like, we needed to play and we needed to do our own thing and play with our brothers and, you know, have a good time and have that, because that kind of, you know, when you have to go do those gigs that are so set in stone, it's beautiful and I still love it, but this gives us the release that we need, you know?
And is that, in a weird way, as crazy as it might sound, and as wild as I'm sure those like huge shows can be, I would imagine that some of your most fun shows also might be just those C-Boys gigs where you're having the most fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're not like constrained to like, okay, I've got to do this. This is a thing, and it's...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you play a big show like that and you just get off stage and you're like, man, I just like bagged groceries for 2 hours.
Dude, that's fucking, put that on a fucking shirt, dude. Dude, that's like...
And I'm not... But,
yeah, that's great.
But I have felt like that before,
No,
especially when you do like, you know, I mean, when when Jason Mraz was like the #1 artist in the world, like we did about 2 or 3 years of a world tour straight, and we would play 5 nights a week, like, all over the world. So you're talking like play in Germany one night and get on a plane and go to France and then go to Korea and times like that, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You like, oh shit, I got to get on stage, and then you just like play the thing and then you get off. And then, so you have that, you know, that's part of it, is the exhausting thing that can kind of put a damper on it. But now last summer I did Zac Brown and Kenny Chesney tour, and we only played on Saturdays,
Dude.
which was great.
That's
a
nice gig.
You've got a week off to like recharge, you know, and then go and hit it again. So that kind of gives you the time to like, every note that you play counts, everything, you know, and then because when you're on tour with these people constantly too, it's like having, you know, your family living with you the entire time, like your mother, your father, your sisters and your brothers. And it's like, kind of gets annoying after a while. You can get so.
And I bet too, like treating the rehearsal for that sort of gig where it's like a 2-3 year, like really involved stint, it becomes more of like training for a marathon.
For sure.
Where it's like, it's not like, okay, these are not tough songs objectively, but being able to hit that stretch with the same amount of effort, like what's how stark of a difference is that between like the, you know, every Saturday sorts of tours?
The week, the pounding it out in town gigs, those days, how do those compare to the, I mean, obviously you're making money, so there's there's that difference.
Big difference.
But like, I will say that going back, when you harken back to those earlier times, you're like, maybe it's just the rose-colored glasses phenomenon, but it always does feel like, man, the old days, you know, there's like a different vibe, and over time, it's like, the more you're a professional, it's like, it is a job, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we started, we had moved, I was going to school in San Marcos, and we would drive up probably like 4 or 5 nights a week, and 6th Street was just all music clubs, you know? And we did it because we loved it.
Yep.
And it was fun, and we met people. We didn't know a lot of people in town. Chicks were hot, you know, that kind of thing.
Very talented.
6th Street was just your main vein. Like that's where you went to really lay down the roots, and like, look at, you're still here.
We met a lot of people. It was really cool. And there was probably some times where I would, you know, I'd be like, man, do we have to do this again? And we would do it for free. We would get paid like maybe $30 a night or something. We were just trying to get better. We used it as like training ourselves. It was school for ourselves, you know? And I used to be petrified to go to LA. I thought LA and New York was like, you could never go there because that's where all the badasses are, you know. You'll get your asses
Out of
handed
your
to you.
league, like
Yeah, for
couldn't
sure.
hold above water there,
Right. But
Yeah.
we had created something so unique for ourselves, like as the horn section, that we had rules for ourselves and nobody else did. So we can go to LA and people would be like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean? Same thing. And it was really cool. And we were pretty much, I mean, at that time, I mean, I remember sitting outside of my, my duplex in college with my trumpet player, Fernando. And I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start a horn section and we're going to name it this. And we're going to be, at that time, it was probably like grunge and like, it was like Nirvana was the biggest thing in the world. So horn sections, nobody gave a fuck about a horn section, right?
I did.
Well, yeah, I did too. But
Plus, we were
Those
right
with-
out of
those
like,
with taste.
we were right out of the swing renaissance,
right,
where
Dude, the
band-
big
daddy.
yeah.
Bro,
So everyone was like,
right.
no more horns.
right. So, but it wasn't pop, you know.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
and so I was like, we're gonna record on everybody's records, and we're going to tour with everybody. And I didn't know anybody in the world, you know. And I don't know. I mean, we've probably got like 300 records by now, you know, like Backstreet Boys. I mean, can't even tell you all the like records
Yeah.
I've done, but it's
You've
pretty cool.
worked with everybody and everybody. Like, it is ridiculous.
It's been cool.
And especially too, like, you've been doing it like 20, 25 years, like
Mm-hmm.
and professionally.
Well, much longer
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
You've been playing music your whole
As a
life.
musician.
One thing I'm curious about is after you joined Kill Tony and you got sort of put into that audience sphere. How is
Yeah,
that?
that's a weird one to have one of your best recurring town gigs or in-town gigs be a comedy show. Who would have thunk it?
So you're talking about like how it's affected, like how I relate to the job, or how I like it, or all of the above, or
Kind of all the above, but also like the sort of name association, because I'm sure a lot of people do associate, you know, Carlos Sosa with the Kill Tony Band and Grooveline, but you've also had this illustrious career before you associated with all these like arguably bigger artists.
Yeah.
Not
it's
arguably bigger.
interesting. Tony had come. I had met Tony a couple of times. He'd come to Tuesday nights years before. He was a nice guy. You know, we met, we talked. And then I kind of heard about Kill Tony. And I'm fucking blinders. I don't give a fuck about anything that's going on besides my fucking world. And then John, you know, one of my really good friends, Paul Deemer, was the trombone player, and then for some reason he got let go.
I saw him recently.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
And-
he's a really good dude. He's a really good dude.
And he and John said at Tuesday nights, he said, "Hey, you want to come sit in on Kill Tony next Monday?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck, I don't have anything to do. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but whatever. I want to play with you guys, you know."
Yeah.
And then I show up and played, and well, the three of us did. And then Tony came up to me afterwards at Mitzi's, and he's like, "Well, number one, John didn't tell me what the fuck to prepare for. He didn't tell me shit. He was like,
Not like,
just show up and
here's
play.
the format
Nothing.
of the show.
But here's the thing, you're
here's
like,
what you need to
okay,
know.
because you are who you are. You're like, okay.
Well,
like,
but
you're-
also like the reason that I get good jobs is because I'm always overly prepared, right?
Facts.
You know, and so, and it's not just me; it's two other guys that I have to take care of and make sure that we're all in sync and prepared. So I showed up. I was really uncomfortable that night because I was super like I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Did my best, had a great time though. We played our asses off. Tony comes up to me after the gig at Mitzi's and he's like, "Fuck, man, I don't know if I can afford you guys, but I need to have you every Monday." And I was like, "Fuck, it's Monday, bro. I'm here, you know, whatever."
Yeah.
It was fun.
yeah.
And then we started refining things and like trying to like it kind of funny enough, like within the first like 8 months or 8 months to a year when I started Kill Tony, Christy told me that they would a year prior they would be hard pressed to get like 25,000 views, like with a lot of promotion. And then the year after She said with no promotion, they get 2 million easy.
This is okay.
This is my first year. And
in your first year,
Yeah.
so that viewership had been at like 25,000.
that's
an episode,
what, yeah, I remember her saying
and
that.
jumped to 2 million.
To 2 million without any promotion.
I mean, can we?
It's not about me,
Dude.
I'm just saying that I
No,
came
no.
in at a really good time.
No,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that
You know what I mean?
think that it all coalesced is what happened because it's like the production quality because you guys are the best he's ever had. Yeah, I was randomly on Reddit the other day. I saw somebody commenting on like that Kill Tony subreddit, and it was like he was talking about how much he was watching some old episodes and how much he hates the old band.
Right.
And I was like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, because what you guys bring is like it's arena level shit.
Well, what's cool is that
And it is arena
we
level
had
shit
started
now.
You know, we work really hard as the band to make something unique. And we have a platform and an opportunity to do that, you know. So we've really been taking it seriously. And to answer your other question is that really nobody in fucking Kill Tony universe knows shit about me or gives a fuck. Like they literally don't care, which is cool as fuck. It's fine, you know.
You appreciate the
I saw that
low-key-
dude
I
last
don't
night,
care.
bro.
You know, I don't give a shit. I don't want, you know, it is what it is. And then, but then, you know, Tony will be like, "Oh my God, you're fucking friends with Chad Taylor from Live. Like he fucking loved that band." You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah.
And then Yoni will be like, "How do you know this fucking guy? I didn't know you were." He'll say something about I said something about the Grammys. He's like, "The Grammys, you're part of that?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been for like fucking 20 years." He's like, "Well, what about the voting? Do you vote for Grammys?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Fuck, I didn't know that." I'm like, "Yeah, dude,
Yeah, that's
like,
how it works.
Yeah, I'm part of the academy.
Just shit like that."
They don't,
So
they
it's
don't
always
call, what do they call it? It's not the
it's
academy.
the
Is
recording
it?
academy.
Oh, the recording academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's cool. You know, it's just like, I mean, it's a really cool thing because most of the time, I mean, number one, I've got my favorite, like my family, my brothers playing with me. So that's one of my biggest things in my life that I'm blessed to do, you know? And we get to make up shit and fucking just have fun and laugh. And I always tell people that it's kind of the best job in the world because I'm just fucking laughing and making shit up with my friends. That's what I'm doing. Rather than being on, again, and I don't want to like, I know I've been saying this a lot, but playing a big show, that's one of my favorite things to do in the world. Like that's what I'm born to do is play these big shows or play any show. But I don't want to take it for granted. But with this, like, I don't have to do much. And it's not about me being on all the time, that 2 hours of intense like performance. It's about the comedy. And then I'm just there to make it better, whatever I can do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To accompany what's going on.
And they definitely build the Kill Tony band in a way that it really highlights them as kind of another cast member, right? Yeah. Where it's not like, you know, between sets, it's just you guys and then quiet.
Did y'all write a theme song yet? Or no?
Oh yeah.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Bro,
we had just
no,
we have it's funny because I thought to myself, I was like, man, you know, we got a horn section. Oh, we would play the Johnny Carson, the Tonight Show theme, right? And then we can't play covers. It was about a year ago or a year and a half ago where things would get flagged. So we couldn't play anything that would get flagged.
Anything non-original.
Because then it'll get demonetized, the whole thing. They'll just fucking
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
It is crazy, but that was a blessing because then we had to start writing a bunch of badass original material, which we did. And we're all talented enough to do that. So I was watching like some Johnny Carson stuff and I was like, man, that fucking, we played it. We can't play it anymore. I need to write something like that. And I thought about this it was about 5 months ago. And I was like, it was just in the back of my mind. And then 3 months later, which is 2 months ago, John called me. He's like, hey, bruh, we need to play some swing Johnny Carson shit. And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, dude, you read my mind. Yeah, dude. I was like,
that's a good fucking D's impression.
Right. And then that night, I fell asleep and I woke up probably at 3 a.m. and I had this fucking melody in my head. And I just put up my voice notes and I sang it in my phone. Next day, I sat at the piano, wrote out all the chord changes, and now we have a fucking killing like Tonight Show style thing, you know, and it's fucking badass. And I think it was night one at the Vulcan that we pretty much played it the entire night. Like every time somebody walked on, we did it. When they walked off, we did it. So just so we could rehearse it, you know,
locked in.
Yeah, get it locked in.
Put it in the ears of listeners,
and it's
too.
fucking hard. Like it's a fucking burning like horn tune. It's like a big band thing with only 3 horns. Where Johnny Carson had the fucking Doc Severinsen Orchestra, and they had 15 fucking horns.
Dude.
But that's what's fun about it is
Yeah.
getting to write cool shit.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I feel like theme songs too. That's kind of a dying art. I can't think of many, at least TV shows nowadays, where I can like really like either
Well, it's
hum
just like
hum the
neutral
melody,
tones and shit. Or
yeah, it's very like milk toast. But going back to like maybe even like pre-COVID, like there were themes out there, even for like like McDonald's.
Well, and not only that, but you get to put your stamp on this thing now in the way that like it's very much integrated in the whole show now. It's like it's just the same as if you were watching the Tonight Show now. It feels like it wouldn't even feel like the show if y'all weren't there. Well, at this point,
Well,
which y'all
did anybody know what happened in London?
A big fight apparently in the crowd.
I have no idea what happened.
Apparently, there was like a dude.
I don't know because we haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
We're just like
London is going.
I said good luck. Good luck.
Dude.
We'll see you guys.
Bro.
But what we've been doing is it's also unique because you have these comedians that you don't know who's going to do well, who's not going to do well, who keeps coming back. But when we get regulars, we write a theme song for them, which is super cool because we used to have all Casey Rocket was like a Lady Antebellum song or something like that, and then we wrote his song for him. And then we did one for William. And it's cool. It's awesome. And we're writing these really cool, like, it kind of becomes it's like their theme music, like a scene from Shaft. They're walking down the street and you hear their fucking theme song going. You know what I mean?
It's also fun for the audience because it can kind of get them pumped up. Like one I think
sure.
of is like,
Ari's is
Ari's, True Drew Nickens, like that one. It's just like get the crowd like into the mode.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's I mean, I kind of like just fell into this thing, and it's been creatively and like meeting new people. It's opened up kind of I've got a lot of great friends, like what's his name? Adam Ray's really great friend now.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Andrew Dice Clay is a good friend of mine now, which is super weird. Fiona and Matt are great friends, and they're going to be staying with me next weekend. And so it's been really cool. I typically hate meeting people, but this is great. This is great.
Dude, bro. By the way, I'd like to publicly apologize that you had to see the horrific awfulness that you saw when I was on like fucking February of last year.
When you
dude.
got put with a bucket full?
Bro. Everybody's like, man, like, how was that? Like bombing in front of 2 million people. I'm like, fuck 2 million. I don't give a shit about it. They don't. It's like bombing in front of the homies. But I'm like, I couldn't look anybody in the eye for 6 months.
Oh man,
dude. And then I went back and watched it though. That was our premiere episode of this shit, and it was like, oh man, it wasn't actually as bad as I mean, it was like, it was not good, but it was.
I'll tell you, I feel for you guys. Like I could not imagine. Like now, I don't give a fuck about being on stage. I go on, I have people ask me all the time, "Do you get nervous?" There's fucking all these people. I don't give a fuck,
dude.
But I don't have to talk on the mic. You know what I mean? I don't have to say anything. I don't have to convince anybody about anything.
You gotta play your instrument.
I will hold steady on. I could have gotten that crowd back, but not in a minute. When I lost them out the gate, I needed at least 2 or 3 minutes probably before they might start trusting me again. Because like when you lose the trust, sometimes it's like they didn't see anything, so there was no frame of reference for them.
It's been really cool to watch. I remember a lot of the guys. I went to.
I was also nervous as like
a lot of the guys that normally like regulars. They're funny. They're whatever. And then I go to Red Band's show. I went once. And I saw these people do, like Hans. He's great.
Where is Hans?
He's great. Whatever. He's a great comedian. Like, I think they're all great.
Sharp
right?
writer.
And then I saw his, 15-minute set, and I was like, fuck. That was great. Like, he's a bad motherfucker. Like, gave me respect. And then I talked to Hans about it. I was like, man, that was really good. And I kind of, because I don't know fucking comedy. Like, I know I was a fan when I was a kid, but this whole world opening up to me. And then Hans was like, yeah, it's really fucking difficult to get him in a minute.
Yep.
That time frame is just so
If the first joke doesn't work,
limiting.
like
I seen it all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
then comics lose. That is the hardest part in comedy, dude.
Right.
Is that iron will through that fucking bomb. Like, fuck all of you. And if you don't have that, bro, like,
To just be able
they
to
will
face it.
eat you
Right.
alive. I mean,
Did you
they'll
see
feel you,
one of
feel
my
it.
favorite guys? And did you see this guy, Timmy? Fucking
Timmy No Break.
God.
I see this guy on fucking Reddit, dude. I'm like,
I swear to fucking.
He is-
I mean, his material was, it was so, but his fucking interview
He's a character,
kicked
man.
my ass. And the fucking best thing was when Tony was annoyed about him copying Dice, and he's like, never heard of him. It's fucking great. Like, he was very sharp, and we were just like the band. We've been talking about that guy ever since, and it's stuff like that. Like, you see, like the big guy with the children's books. You just fucking,
yeah.
Oh my God,
I think it was it Charlie Mack?
Charlie Mack.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, stuff like that is just, it's awesome to be in the room when that happens. And I'm in the room all the time when somebody walks on stage and their feet are fucking shaking and their hands are shaking. And I'm like, this is not going to be fucking good.
Dude.
And then it's hard,
It's cringe, dude. It's like, I'm like,
It's hard to see it. It's because I feel so bad for them. And I'm just like fucking 4 feet away from them. And I can see their legs shaking,
So you've gotten to the point where you can see them walk on and be like, this is not going to work.
You know how it's going to
Yeah.
go.
Like, oh, okay.
dude.
I've been, and it's a trip for me because I'll tell you, when I started with Kill Tony, I did the Kenny Chesney and Zach tour, right? And I was telling everybody, I didn't know how popular Kill Tony was. I would get off stage at a fucking football stadium in front of all these people, and I'm backstage, and then I have like 20 or 30 people be like, oh my God, it's the sax player for Kill Tony. You're a Kill Tony guy. And I was like, yeah, I was just on stage here though. Like, they didn't give a fuck. You know
I
what I
played
mean?
music
Yeah, that
before.
was just there. And I remember,
Dude.
I told Tony the story. I was doing Jason Mraz during the week in a tour bus, and I would fly to wherever the fuck Zach was on a Saturday. Flew to this thing. It was like fucking taking overnight flights. It was horrible.
eyes.
And then I hadn't slept. I show up at like 8 a.m. to this venue, wherever the fuck, upstate New York or something. And there's these like, so I get out of the car and I have my suitcase. I'm lugging it to the backstage. And one of the stage managers for Zac Brown, he said, when you're on tour, the crew likes to fuck with you all the time, right? They play jokes and all this shit. And he's like, yo, man, you're fucking famous, man. These guys want to meet you. They've been waiting all fucking day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm not in the mood. I'm fucking exhausted. I don't have time for your shit. And he's like, no, man, I'm serious. You're fucking famous. And I was like, whatever, dude. I'm rolling my suitcase. And then I see like these big ass motherfuckers like in a circle on the stage. And they're all like, and then Zach and his assistants are there and they're talking. And then I'm walking up. I'm like, where's the fucking dressing room? I just want to go take a nap. And then his name is Rustin, the crew guy. And he goes, no, man, I'm serious, man. And then this guy looks at me, and then the sea parted. And then nobody was paying attention to Zach. And they were like, man, you're the guy I wanted to see. Like, we drove all this way. We're opening up and we just want to play with you. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And they're like, yeah. They watch me every week. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's been very surreal.
Well,
and then
that's millions of eyes on you week after week
and
after
then
week.
since Netflix, fuck.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
How have those arena shows compared to doing it in the mothership? Because the mothership feels like such a perfect
It doesn't
cradle.
translate.
Right. That's what I would have thought, dude. Because I'm like, it's so, this is what I said about comedy, dude. Why comedy works best in either theaters or lower ceiling rooms if it's a flat room, where it's like, because the higher the ceiling, the more echo. I've seen comedy shows where I'm like in the upper deck and it's like, it just doesn't feel, there's a disconnect, I feel like, with it from the performer.
But
to me.
I mean, growing up watching all the the specials, like the HBO comedy specials and stuff, they were in fucking big venues, and
Yep.
but you're also watching it
Dice.
on TV, you know. But I'm sure if I was there, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so I just feel like for what the show is, it doesn't translate as well.
No.
Because the mothership is very intimate and it feels good. The energy is right there. It's the same thing if I play a big show, an arena show, and I play Seaboys.
Yeah.
It's the energy exchange. You know, Prince used to do this all the time where he'd play the Irwin Center, which was the place here in town before wherever the fuck Moody, yeah. So he'd play that, and then he'd go play a small club for fucking, till 5 a.m. because he wants that energy, you know. So I think I think for the format of the show, it doesn't work as well, but I do think that there are so many fans that it's awesome that they get to buy tickets to go see it.
Yeah.
It's more about bringing the show to them.
Yeah, and that's a
It's
cool
an
thing.
experience for them, and it's like hey, this isn't a common thing. It's just, hey, you could get a chance to do it in your city this once, and it's like,
I think it's beautiful. And it's great that there's enough fans that want to see it that sell out these arenas. It's really cool.
Dude, it's wild.
It's weird for me to like also being more popular for just my facial expressions than actually playing my fucking instruments.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like all these people all the time are like, yeah, we're looking at your face to see if somebody's funny or not. I'm like,
well, and you're like usually seated like just stage left or but for other performer, you're usually in the shot a lot. Like if it's a head-on shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't hide my expressions very well.
And dude, you've got the look, dude. You've got a unique look, bro. And it's like you got those, dude. Pull up his Wikipedia, bro. Those tries, dog. You're freaking tries,
what
bro.
people are saying? People are saying that I look like a mafia boss.
Bro.
It's so funny, dude.
Dude, yo, where's the money though?
Look like you might about to be doing like a this, that.
Yeah,
Dude.
sit in the front.
Yeah, dude, fucking it's crazy, man, and it's crazy the marriage of music now with comedy in the Austin scene, because Austin's always been the live music capital of the world, and then it's always been a great comedy town too, honestly, but it was like a very charming, like kind of hidden gem type scene when I started, like 2010, and I used to perform here all the time from like up till COVID,
right?
And it was only after COVID that I feel like things changed, but it's like
it's now been cool. Well, because I remember playing all these clubs and playing 6th Street. I mean, shit, I didn't come back to 6th Street for 12 years. Like I would never go to fucking 6th Street because that's where I grew up basically and became a musician. But
you had graduated.
But it's really cool to see like what we did back then was we would go from club to club and just sit in with everybody and try and just to meet people, for people to see us, to want to see us, for us to get better. And now I remember when I first met Cam Patterson, and he's like hauling ass to go to another club to do another set. I'm like, man, this is fucking cool because it's not music, it's comedy.
To sort of see the routine still in place and people are still doing it the way that you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like one of my best friends, the guitar player for Zac Brown, Coy, he's like, he was so happy that I was part of it. He's like, man, I feel like the Austin comedy scene is like the Seattle grunge scene. That's what's happening right now. People are going to talk about that shit for a long time.
Do I not say that, bro?
Yeah.
I say that, dude. I say the same fucking thing because it's a energy. I feel it's not even it's just a vibe that's happening. You know?
I tell Tony all the time too. Is like I feel that it's like whatever. In the 70s and 80s when Saturday Night Live was massive, like that whole and Robin Williams and all these the Blues Brothers shit and all this stuff. I feel like that's what's happening here with what we're doing. I was like, man, it kind of feels like the 70s and 80s of Saturday Night Live. That's going to live on for a while. How
people look at it. Like people are coming here actively, like migrating here to sort of get a slice of the pie. Yeah. In the same way that like the Seattle grunge scene is like we're popping up there. That's where it's at. That's where things are popping.
Absolutely. It floors me, man, to see like, my first like 6 months on the job, I had no idea. People were flying in from Australia just to sign up.
Bro.
I'm like, what?
It's fucking wild, bro. Yeah. It's wild.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I've been like redirecting my goals recently as a creative. And thanks to these two guys, I'm getting put in a room with people who are at an extreme professional level of being a creative. So would you say that it's a good goal to want to work towards just being paid to play, like play in a very childlike, fun way, rather than play in like the playing whatever it is, an instrument, you know?
I'm not sure I understand.
So is it a good goal to want to achieve success, to be put in rooms where you could just explore sounds?
Is it more about playing to play or
creative?
playing for money? Is that what you mean?
Playing to play, yes.
Playing to play versus playing for money?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, for me, my path, I mean, I started playing piano when I was probably 7. Then I started playing guitar when I was 9. Started playing sax when I was 11. I was always musical, right? And I knew I was the first person in my family to be a musician, but I have a family of like doctors and lawyers, you know, and so they didn't really support what I was gonna. They're like, oh, you're gonna be a fucking musician,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Go spin your wheels.
But
yeah.
No money in it.
And my grandmother was like, I'm not paying. You know, if you go into computer science or something medical, I'll pay for your college. If you don't, I'm not paying for your college. It's like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. So I got a scholarship so I could fucking, you know. Anyway, my point is that I was a performance major for like a year and a half, and I was telling him earlier, and I hated it. And I was already playing with a band here in Austin that was signed to Mercury Records. Bob Schneider was the lead singer. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
We had a band called
Legend.
Ugly Americans. And I was playing clubs since I was like 15, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. But I was doing the performance stuff. I was like, man, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me I'm gonna be a decent musician. I'm just gonna practice and get better and work on myself. I can do that. So then the audio engineering program came up. I was like, I like studio stuff. I'm gonna do that. So I applied. It was really hard to get into, blah, blah, blah. I did that. And then everybody told me, even there, they were like, well, if you're gonna be a producer, number one, be prepared not to have a family. Like, you have to give up everything to do this. If you wanna be a producer, you can be a producer, you can be an audio engineer, you can be a session musician, but you can't do all those things, you know? Another thing, I was like, fuck that. I'm going to do all of them because I love recording in the studio. I love producing records. I love songwriting. I love performing. And so I got my degree. I interned at a really great studio here in town at the time. And then when I graduated, I bought it. I got some investors, bought the studio, owned a recording studio for a while. Then I took everything, sold it, took the Pro Tools rig home, and I started doing recording remotely probably in 2005. So it was like very early with people all over the world. So people would send me an MP3, I would send them their horn stuff done, right? And so that started my career being on records, so I didn't have to be in the same room. And then I had like a network of producers all over the world that would they're like, this is like Christmas. I send you a song and you send me back whatever. So I still do that. And now people, you know, this is like commonplace now, but it wasn't back then, you know. This is 20 years ago. And my answer to the question would be just fucking do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Sick. Yeah.
Just fucking do it. Like, there's no other way. Like, I didn't have a plan B. I didn't give a fuck. And I had one job in my life, and I was a pizza delivery person in college for a year and a half.
In San Marcos?
Yeah.
At Gumby's or?
Double Dave's. Okay. I don't know. It's probably not there anymore. But yeah, I worked my way up to manager, was there for about 6 months. But it's the only job I ever had. I put myself through school. I'm pretty successful, you know? I think you just stay true to your passion and just do what makes you happy. You're going to be fucking fine.
Hell yeah.
I know people like Nikki Glaspie, one of the best drummers in the world. She was playing with Beyonce when she was like 19.
Mm-hmm.
She's fucking insane.
Yeah.
One of my dearest friends. She went to Berklee School of Music for a year. And then she didn't get a degree. And there's a lot of people that,
It's because people realize school can only take you so far, and then you reach that point, and it's like either you take
Right.
that
It's
and,
up
and
to you.
run with it,
Right.
or you don't. It's
There's-
like we can teach you everything, but you have to still go do it and go play.
There's tons of people that I just saw a post today about this jazz conservatory. Someone was bitching about they spent like $300,000 becoming like in this jazz conservatory, and they feel like they got ripped off because nobody said what you were going to be prepared for after school, right? And it's like, I mean, there's people that didn't go to school and are fucking amazing. And there's people that went to school and are fucking useless. You know what I mean? And so I think I really believe that it's like a passion thing and
an ambition thing.
Not to have an option. Like, I'm going to fucking do this. And nobody needs to tell me, you know, for my path too, it's like me wanting to be a successful musician, being a saxophone player that's not a jazz guy is fucking impossible. Nobody would ever do that. Like, not only is it hard enough, but every band has a fucking guitar player, every band has a bass player, but not every band has a fucking horn section or a saxophone player, you know? So you're fucking crazy if you think that you're going to have a successful career in this, but you know, it's worked so far. And I really think that it's passion. Just do what you want to do and make yourself fucking happy. Don't have a plan B. Don't fucking worry about anything. Just fucking do it. Is that an answer?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as a follow up to that, I'm curious what has failure meant to you throughout your career in the set, whatever's, I'm sure, as anyone does over the course of a long career, I'm sure have setbacks. How do you respond, and what do you like?
How do you
when
view
you
failure?
Yeah, like in terms of like, hey, like let's say that first night you went and did the Kill Tony, and you didn't necessarily feel like it was like the best you could have done. How do you integrate that as you move forward with what you do creatively?
I really try, if I'm up for a job or I'm gonna do, I try to do I go to insane limits to make sure that I'm gonna do the best job possible. And I think, and to be one of like the best in the world at what I do. As far as like recording and arranging horns and being on other people's records, like I've done some shit that I still can't. I produced a record probably when I was 25 that I listen to now that I'm like, fuck, how the fuck did I do that? But it's like, and it's just a personal thing. Like I go hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I expect people to do the same. And I think that's the difference between people who are serious pros.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Right.
Other than like, if you have a job, you're going to do this gig or you're auditioning for this or whatever. If you're not fucking killing it, then you're not fucking, you do something else. You know, do something else with your life. You have to kill it.
And y'all bring that energy every time. Forward. Too. Yeah. I was gonna say, because like even I've seen you guys like on C-Boys Mini Night, and it's like there's some nights it's it's light, and it's like it doesn't change anything for y'all. That's a marker of someone that's like every single time it doesn't matter what it looks like over here. Like this is just being done because this is how it's done.
I was gonna tell you too that when my it wasn't I think because also it was all about music, but it wasn't just about performing. Like I wanted to do all these different things, and I still go to school. Like I still take online classes because I'm like a lifetime learner. Like I couldn't, I started recording online because I put it together. I was like, well, a Pro Tools session, the only thing, like the file, the icon file is like super small, so you can email that. Back then when you had dial-up. But the audio files are big, so I would just burn them on CDs. But I figured it out myself, and I was like, if I mail it to this guy, he can open it, then he can get the Pro Tools file that, so I figured all this shit out. And it's like, I spent times where I was like scoring films, I did, you remember, well, you guys obviously don't remember, but there's a show on MTV called Run's House and Pimp My Ride. So it was like a Pimp My Ride. So I did the music for that. I was doing
bro, what?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so
that was the worst shit. They would take the shittiest cars and like, you're like,
they
was
took
this
the shittiest
really the
music
best
as
use
well.
of-
I'm gonna tell you that. I swear to God, like that was my first foray into hip hop, and I was just like, doo, 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 doo.
Oh, that's fucking.
But it was cool, and
Plucking around on
but
MP3s.
yeah,
hilarious.
I was doing music for MTV when I was in my 20s, and it was just like
and you were getting paid, dude.
I
It's
was
like,
getting paid.
Yeah,
but it's like all encompassing. Like it's just like I wanted to learn as much as I could about everything. I'd be a better saxophone player if I didn't know how to do all those other things, but I love everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do actually relate heavily
Yeah.
to that.
She's like, do fucking everything. No, and I'm obsessive about it. I still like, I just did Zac Brown's last record, and I probably didn't sleep for like 2 or 3 days because I was like, it's on my mind. I got to get it right. I got to do this. Got to write all the parts, and they need it by their deadline. It's like, I don't give a fuck. This is what I was born to do.
That's what's gotten
You know
you
what I
into
mean?
fucking world tours and arenas.
Yeah. And I think that applies to anything, to medical school, to whatever the fuck you want to do with your life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just something that I fucking learned on my own. I'm just like, I set my own rules for my future,
Yeah, I said that about my boy Osama, who's killing it in stand up right now up in New York. But like I met him when I moved there in 2015, and I've always said this about him. He went at stand up with like medical school dedication.
Yeah.
Like, because he's took the MCAT and he's Indian, so his parents were like, he's supposed to go to fucking medical school.
Same shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he went to New York and just went at it. And he was in my living room here visiting when he got a call like that Gersh had signed him. I was like, dude, fuck it. It's just so cool to see your friends like ascend, and it's like that sickening work ethic, attention to detail.
Yeah.
It is the difference. Really, it's the difference in that top 5%, dude. The ones that are in the Pareto principle or whatever the shit. Where those,
I know what you're talking
You know what I'm
about,
talking about? But it's only those 5% that are willing to go to those lengths.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And I think there's also like a sense of intelligence that goes in, like, it's like not wasting your time about, like with that whole principle. Like, I don't have to do all this shit to get to here. I'm just going to go here instead. And I think Tony's fucking, I talked to Tony about this. Like, people think that this shit happens overnight.
Yeah.
But it's like, Tony's been doing this for fucking ever.
Yeah, he has.
And,
he was working the door at the fucking store in LA,
and
just
I've
being
got a
the
huge-
peon guy.
I've got a huge story about the guy. I've got so many randomly fucked up things and connections in my life, but the guy who actually started Tony is a friend of mine that I met in fucking Honduras, which is
Oh shit.
random as fuck.
that is random
Small world.
Yeah. And he doesn't know anything about me and Tony yet because we're trying to keep it secret.
He's gonna see you on stage one night.
No, but he doesn't watch. I mean, he lives in Honduras, so he doesn't watch. But he was the fucking. I don't know if he was the booking agent or the door guy at the Comedy Store, but his name's Tommy Morris. And Tony's like, I owe my entire career to that guy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but Tony would tell me, he's like, man, I'll sleep in my fucking car. And that guy said, when I'd have a bad set, he's like, just keep on doing it, bro. Just I'm gonna give you another night. Just do it again. Do it again. And Tony's one of the biggest things in the world now, and because he worked fucking hard.
And it was this too, It was
and he also, I pride myself in not having like that, not letting anybody tell me what I was supposed to do with my life. It's like, I'm gonna do it my way. I might fucking fail, but Tony's the same fucking way. Not that I'm comparing myself to Tony, but I'm just saying that it's, it's that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Well, you came from a
I believe San Antonians have a chip on our shoulder
Yeah.
too. We come out of San Antonio with a chip on our shoulder. dog. I'm just saying, because we're like
San Antonio. Fuck.
dude, fucking A, man, dude, and we're like right at an hour now, and I know you got to go, but dude, it's so great. I'm so grateful to you, man. Thank you, because all of the things you're talking about and what we said with like we're in a special place. This is special for certainly for us, and hopefully for people that might be listening. So it's like, to get a chance, and hopefully in the future we can do this again and like have a little bit more room to like stretch out. Because
Yeah, for sure, dude. I can talk about
we can
myself
wax on
forever,
this. No, well,
obviously.
we can wax on this shit forever. No, but your perspectives and your experience and your just the body of work. It's just, bro. From like seriously, thank you so much for like coming out tonight, man. I know you're so fucking busy and your social battery only has a finite
This is cool.
charge
There's
on
only
it.
fucking 4 people in this room. I'm safe.
Right?
We're leeching.
No. Well, and that's we keep trying to keep it like that. So, but yeah, and I don't know. Do you have any actually a great? I have just an open-ended question to close it for you to answer. Just a great band leader always what?
Pushes.
I love that. I
Yeah.
fucking love that, dude. That's great.
Yeah.
That goes back to your whole
fucking love
personality.
that.
Yeah, I think
Your whole approach.
my band hates me. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, you are Hitler, dude. But dude, you have to do that. You have to drive them that way sometimes. And it's, I mean, how do you, is that, it's got to be difficult too, because you're like, it's like Jordan. You know, he was like, he would take on the role of the asshole because he knew, but it was almost because, hey, I see this in you or in whatever, or I think we could all be doing this thing. It's like, and you have to take that on. That's kind of a.
Also, when people see that you're killing it, or like, you know, you got to learn like 3 songs, and then people see that you got your shit together and they don't, they feel really inferior. So that's
Facts.
a good motivation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you
And
never
then,
want to
you
be
know,
the worst player in the band.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'm a dick about it. I'm like, I know my shit. Are you guys fucking pros or what? You know? But everybody that I work with, you know, they're all bad motherfuckers, man. And
Dude.
I learn a lot from them. So,
Dude, and we're just like you've said, you feel lucky to be doing what you're doing. I feel lucky. I know
I feel very
we all
lucky.
feel lucky
Right.
to be here, to be part of it, and in the ways that we are. And dude,
gratitude is
it's-
very important.
It is the name of everything, dude. It's all unlocked. It's the great key to unlocking like everything good. Like honestly,
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
I had
brother.
a great time. I'll come
Yeah.
back. We'll do this 50 more times.
fucking hey,
I'm
bro.
down.
Bro,
Glad to have
we'll
you
bring
back,
D's back
man.
next time. That fucking impression was too good, bro.
Hey, bro.
Dude, yeah. All right, thanks, bro.
All right.
Shit, man.